Alright, what's going on? Welcome to the video, guys. So we're going to be looking at the Type 64 today. I picked up this vehicle a week or two ago, something like that. It's very good. The only thing I'd like to note about this tank is something that I noticed right away is the torque. It's not a slow vehicle, but it gets moving kind of slowly, if I can say that. It just doesn't have the torque I'm used to on some other vehicles. It kind of feels like the Even 90 in a way. What I've done to, I guess, kind of help this a little bit is the valves tuning, and that gives a little more to engine power, but it takes away a little bit of forward speed. However, this vehicle I think has a top speed of like 72, so this is not an issue at all. And really, that could, I know that's very little, it's like 3%, whatever, but it does make a bit of a difference when you have a tank that's this light. Like a light tank, I feel like it helps more than it would with a heavy tank. Anyway, I set this thing up with the, obviously the optics in the scouting slot, exhaust system, low noise exhaust system, and we are running the V-stab as well. I'm running rations. You can see my crew over here. It's, you know, concealment, situational awareness, these kinds of things, guys. Snapshot, smooth ride, and intuition, and sixth sense, and all that stuff. So we do have the recon and situational awareness as well, which helps with the spotting. It's 479 view range that I have currently with this setup, and I'd like to note that this is a lot of view range for tier 6. I would say, like, even my LTG has at tier 7 has less view range than this thing. So I would say that you could both passive scout and active scout in this thing, but I think that's where this thing is really shining, is its view range is insane, but on top of that, the DPM is also good. The gun is, you know, decently accurate. Really, this is the best tier 6 light tank, in my opinion, in terms of numbers and statistics. This is the best one. Like, if you're going to carry a game, this is probably the tank you want to be in, or the 12T because it has the clip, right? But yeah, there's actually a lot of decent light tanks at tier 6. Anyway, we've looked at how I have this thing set up and all. Let's go ahead and get into the games. We're probably going to play 3 battles. We're about 2.5 minutes into this video so far. Yeah, I am on a little bit of a schedule today. I do need to get a couple things done before work, so we'll go ahead, probably play 3 games, and yeah, we'll see what we can get into, guys. But overall, so far, I like the tank. The only thing that I've really noticed with it is just the lack of torque. But other than that, I mean, this thing is pretty damn nice. So we are on Glacier. On Glacier, what I like to do in every single light tank is come to the mid. The reason I do this is because it gives the team a lot of information, but you also get early shots. And, you know, any damage you can take away from the enemy team at the beginning is always a good thing, right? So that's what we're going to do. This is a tier 6 game. Sometimes if it's 7 or 8, I will load APCRs at the beginning. But because this is a tier 6 game, we really shouldn't have a problem penetrating people. And yeah, 128 millimeters of pen. The shell velocity is not the greatest on this tank. I'm just seeing that now, but it's not like it's terrible. I mean, it's pretty average in my opinion for like an APCR type of setup. And here we go. This is the kind of angle I like to take. I like to come up like this. There's AMD, and you just have to watch for TDs here. I don't think anyone should be here. If they were, I'd probably light them. There are 2 arties, so I'm going to be careful of that. ARL. And if these shots don't go in, it's not the biggest deal. I'm not going to get too aggressive. The shot into the ARL obviously didn't go in, but it's still giving the team some information, and we know the ARL is going that direction. I don't think I spotted him, but this is kind of the method I like to take. I'm just showing you guys kind of the approach I take in doing this. So, shot into the 12T, and one more thing you want to watch out for is if you come this way, even on the other side as well. I heard the arty firing at me. That was pretty lucky to only take 59 damage, but you want to watch out for this, guys. Light tanks love to come up this way, so you really have to be mindful of that. What I'm noticing here is we have nobody. Wow, this Hellcat's coming right out. What is this? With his gun raised. What I'm noticing is we have nobody on the 0 line, which is kind of making me uncomfortable. I think what I'm going to try and do is just stick to this side for now, and we'll see what happens over there. If there's a safe way to kind of get out of here in the next couple of minutes, we will take it. Let's just see if we have any shots on this AT. Kind of. Yeah, like these aren't always going to go in because of the armor on that thing, but with APCRs I think we were able to get a decent penetration there. Okay, so we're going to roll like this. We're going to roll the whole one line in terms of looking at the map and all. Like we're absolutely going to demolish them over there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back. It's 6-2. Chances are we're going to win this game, but what I want to do is start supporting the 0 line because that's where we're weak. And yeah, the gun on this thing is not insanely accurate by any means, guys. It's alright. I'm still kind of adjusting to the the shell velocity is kind of slow. Like I'm used to faster shell velocity, so that's one thing to note. It is only like 792 on here, which is kind of like the Chaffee. The APCRs are standard, but I would say, because I said that before, but I would think the APs are actually a little slow in my opinion. But I think the APCRs are not super slow. But this is very important to note, guys. It's something to keep in mind. I know I sound very particular with certain things, but like this is a big deal, right? Like when you have low shell velocity, you really have to take that into account at anything more than a couple hundred meters, or you're going to miss shots, right? It's really that simple. So what I'm going to do is, I see the Hellcats pushing here, right? So I know that no one is up here pretty much now. So I'm going to push basically 9-0. And by pushing 9-0, we can support the Hellcat, we can support the IKV for now. And I'm going to pull up like right here. I can see the M4A1 is in here. And look, FE is right here. That's insane. And look at that. Like, I can't even penetrate this guy or hit him from some, I don't know, 100 meters away. So I would say the accuracy on this thing is average at best. But, yeah, it's just something you got to kind of work through. There's M4. I'm going to relight this guy. I don't really want to take a shot from him, but kind of just want to relight him. Another thing is the shell count on this tank is not super high, so you actually have to be careful. Like, I'm already down to 25 regular shells. If you get into a long game, you know, it sounds like it's enough, right? But just keep in mind, like, if you play a really, really long game, I'll just take another shot from this guy if he's reloaded. Keep in mind that if you play a really long game, like because of the DPM of this vehicle, you could go through that very, very quickly. I'm already out of APs, right? So only VK and AT8 are left. I'm just going to load the APCRs at this point, and we're going to go hunt these guys down. Yeah, and that was a pretty quick game, but really, like, in my opinion, Glacier is not a super hard map to understand. You just have to be very mindful of certain things that are going on because it's very open. And what I find is if you are in the mid here and you're not aware of what's going on like 9-0, it's very easy for people to get crossfire on you. It's the same thing too if you're playing from our spawn and one of their enemy light tanks comes up to here. You have to be very mindful of that as well. This VK actually has a decent amount of HP, so I'm going to try and be a little more safe here. But yeah, these are things to keep in mind with Glacier, right, guys? Like, it seems like sort of a corridor map because you have like 9-0 and you have the one line, but it's actually very open and you really have to be cautious of crossfire. So I wonder if this guy came all the way around. Probably not. He's probably over here. No, I think he really did. I think he's all the way over here. Okay. I have no idea how that happened. Alright, Chaffee. Time to help me. Okay, that's fine. We should be able to cap out. And yeah, this is why I wanted to be kind of cautious before. But Super Chaffee, like, I wish this guy would have stayed and helped me. I don't know why he's running away from one vehicle. Like, it doesn't make any sense for him to run away, because we probably actually could have killed this guy. I know he was a one-shot, but like, if the VK pointed his gun at the Chaffee and the Chaffee got like one shot off, then I would be able to get a couple more shots off because his turret would be turned. And you know what I mean? Like, I'm kind of surprised he just ran away there, but it's all good. We won anyway. 209 spotting, 1528 damage, and yeah, the DPM on this tank, guys, it's good. So keep in mind, if you are going to be going for marks on this thing, it's not going to be very easy because a lot of good players play the Type 64 because it's pretty OP at tier 6, right? So yeah, we were top by experience, it looks like, second by damage, and not a bad game by any means. I'm going to go ahead and just turn on, I'm not going to use one of these credit boosters, but I'm going to turn on the experience booster and the crew booster just for myself. And alright, let's get into the second game. I don't think there's anything more I'd like to say about Glacier, guys. It's not one of my favorite maps, but it's okay for a light tank. Like, you can manage. There's certain bushes you can get into. There's a lot of trees on 9-0, so you know, it's workable, I will say. And yeah, it's an open map. Again, just watch for the crossfire. That's all I really have to say about Glacier. Alright. So Studs, this is another, like, I like Studs. Studs is also another one of those open maps, and I think that's why, right, that I like it. Corridor maps, just, they're not great for light tanks. Some light tanks maybe, but I've never really been a fan of corridor maps, and Mountain Pass is one of the worst ones. Like, yeah, you can get some decent initial spotting damage at the crossing on Mountain Pass with the huge bowl there, but it's so, like, because the mountains are so high, crossfire is rare, except like near the bowl, you know what I mean? Looks like Crusaders here. And yeah, it's just not good for light tanks, right? Because you want to be able to spot stuff. That's really your goal. Like, your goal as a light tank mostly is to be spotting. So it looks like this is a tier 8 game. I didn't even look at the beginning. And there's a tier 7 light. Okay. So on Studs, guys, what I've noticed is I feel like it's a lot safer to come to this area right here from the other side of the map. I don't do it on this side of the map because there's too many times where I've gone this way and like no one has gone south, and I end up getting wrecked basically with crossfire from this area. So I thought the Artie was going to take a shot at the M4, but that's alright. So that's really all I'm trying to do right now, is just kind of help the team. Like, if I went mid, the M4 probably would have already taken care of me. So yeah, this is why I don't rush. Like, at higher tiers, maybe it's a little easier. Like, you have more support, guns do more damage. People are more timid about taking, you know, this trench here. That's one thing to keep in mind. Like, the higher tier, the higher up you go in tiers, usually people are much more careful about the plays they make. So we do have Scorpion back here. I'm thinking I might be able to come this way and try and... I just want to light these guys. That's all I really want to do. If I can do it from a distance, that would be helpful. We got some spotting there. But you got to be really careful doing this because you're in the open, right? And these buildings are breakable, so... And man, that Scorpion was like full HP, wasn't he? So, if I had to guess, I'd say they have a lot of people this way. That's just what I would guess, right? Based on how quickly Scorpion died. But he could have got shot by like SU-130 and hit a couple times by the Progetto. Maybe the Progetto fired HE. Like, people are pretty smart about firing HE at Scorpions now because their turrets have no freaking armor at all. So I'm just going to sit here for a couple of... I was going to say a couple of minutes, but that might be too long. I want to light the Progetto as he comes up because we have Artie, right? And it looks like the VK probably was the one that spotted him there. But this S51 seems like a pretty good player, and he's been hitting his mark. But yeah, if we can just sit here, the game's pretty close, right? So I don't want to press in. I don't want to lose any of my HP. You know, we're a bottom tier light tank. We only have 650 HP on this vehicle, so I think we're going to lose the mid. The T-28 prototype should not be pushing this right now. This is a very bad idea. I know he's a pretty well-armored vehicle, but this is not a good idea because if he dies, then the mid is kind of open, even though we have guys in the north. But I don't like that. I don't really like losing anything. Can I break this building and hit this guy? No, it's not breakable. Spotted. See, that's all I'm doing right now, guys. A lot of times, if you ever see me just sitting somewhere and not really saying anything, it's because I'm trying to assess like what's going on the map and adjust to it. Here's Su-130. I think we can get shots at this guy without being lit. Beautiful. He did try to take a blind shot at me there. All I did is move back in these trees, guys, so I wasn't spotted, so I'm going solid bush, basically. Yeah, like, I've gotten really good with using bushes, like doing all the bush work. Once you kind of know how to do it, you can knock trees down like anywhere, and you can do it well. It becomes like second nature, almost like breathing, right? I just do it, like, even if I know I'm not going to be spotted, I'll still kind of do it sometimes. So at this point, the AMX AC is full HP. I really want to go for this Progetto. And okay, Fury's here. That changes things. Hellcat's with me though. There's the Progetto. He's a one shot. Oh, dude, like, help me, don't push me onto the open. I guess in reality, I'd probably be doing the same thing he just did, though. Like, I don't think that was actually a bad play. I think I just wasn't expecting him to, like, run right through there with me. I thought he'd go, like, around the other way or something, but... Here's JP. I waited, I don't know if you guys noticed, but I waited to take that shot just an extra second because I knew that I probably would have spotted him first, so I didn't want to take the shot while he was still kind of... There was still some distance between us, right? So if you... Because there was bushes here, if you wait to take the shot, you won't be spotted until you're almost to the side of him, and then he can't turn. So these are just little things, guys, that I do that I guess not everyone does, but I like to note them if I can. So 861 spotting, 1564 damage. I think we played that great. Studs, again, a good map for a light tank. Not great, but good and fun. And, you know, the music is good too, right? Like, I love the soundtrack to it. So we were, it looks like, third by damage and top by experience. So this is phenomenal, guys. And we did get, what is this, Confederate or whatever? Cause damage or critical hits to more enemy vehicles, at least 6 than any other player. So there you go. Let's play one more game and see how we do. And I'm up to 1,000 points again, so I'm probably going to buy a stack of bonds for the battle pass. And I gotta see how many more of those credits I have for this like summer event or whatever the heck it is, because I got like 50 some. Like, if you guys aren't playing a lot right now, this will probably be over by the time I post this video, because I'm probably gonna post it like tomorrow or something, right? It's the 23rd of August right now, but I think this event is going for a little while longer. If they still have that background, I thought it said the 21st, but it doesn't look like anything's changed yet. You can get a lot of these points, and I forget what points they're called, but it comes up at the bottom right of your screen, and you can go and get like coin, you can get bonds, crew members, you know, all kinds of stuff. There's a couple of there's also a couple of paints, like paint jobs for the vehicles. Alright, so Airfield is just a shit map. I'll be honest with you guys, I don't like Airfield at all. And this is tier 8 matchmaking again. But what I'd like to do is come here. I kind of learned this spot from, I think it was Steel Guts that showed me this spot. It doesn't always work. The reason you come to this corner is so that you can spot heavies that are coming this way, but oftentimes you'll get a light tank that'll counter you here, and then you have no shots, right? So you know, you have no shots because you have to back down, basically. So spot a few people here. ARL, and looks like, what else did we spot? I don't know, I wasn't really looking, but this is what you have to be mindful of, guys. You always have to watch out for this. People like to run around this corner, and this Comet is doing a terrible job of it. He doesn't really know how to play this. He should be over here, but he's here, and yeah, he's gonna get wrecked for this. Okay. Just watching everything else here, and yeah, that's a terrible play. Don't do that, guys. If you're gonna make that play, come over to here where you can go hold down and you can stay safe. But that's something to watch out for. I wasn't paying attention to that, and that's my fault. Occasionally, I'm usually very good with situational awareness, but in that scenario, I was not. So Pantera's here, T20 is here. Tough to explain kind of how I play this, guys. Like, Airfield is just such a bad map. I just kind of wing it every single time, if I'm being honest. Usually I'm somewhere in the mid here, but like, I'll play it different ways. I'm kind of just poking up and down right now, trying to figure out what I want to do, basically. And some people like the even 90, right? They like to play in the north of this map and come to this area. I don't really like this. You know, if I'm in the even 90, I might do this on occasion. Maybe half the time I play this map, I'll do that. Yeah, there's really nothing I can do safely right now. Let's just see if this VK is going to try and make a poke here. Maybe. Sometimes I will do this in the even, guys. It helps if you don't get countered, you can basically smack shots into the side of heavies if they try and get aggressive and basically come around this corner. But other than that, it's just not a great area. There's not a whole lot you can do from there. You know, it's just, in my opinion, it's not great. Here's Nashorn. And yeah, this is a spot that I've realized where you can get shots on people that are sitting here. So if you ever see like a light tank pressing this way, I recommend you come up to this corner and you can get shots on TDs that sit up here very easily, actually. Like, very easily. So it looks like we're winning this. I'm going to try and see if I can help this ace. Yeah, thought he would die pretty quickly. Oh, this is breakable. I did not know that was breakable. Over here, you can't break it. This is just a rookie mistake, guys. This is amateur hour, apparently. Alright, because this game is so... It looked like we have way more tanks than them at this point. I'm just going to YOLO the Pantera. Okay. And with the HT's help, we can clean up the Pantera, and then what I was hoping is the EBR wasn't going to YOLO, and he didn't, which means now we can go after the EBR. And there's no TDs in the back. And basically why I make this play, guys, is I can see that pretty much all the TDs have been lit. I knew where everybody was, and it's just kind of like a 2 + 2 = 4 thing for me, really. EBR died, so let's go after the T92. He's dead. T2064 KB3, load some APCRs, and we'll go after these guys. But yeah, really on airfield, guys, I just wing it. Like, that's all I was doing. For a couple minutes there, you saw me just kind of like randomly running around. Like, I'm trying to figure out like what's going to happen in the next couple minutes. I'm assessing, you know, the HP of my teammates and, you know, the HP of the enemies and where people are. And that's what you have to do a lot of times. There's don't feel like you're not doing anything. I mean, technically you are not doing anything if you're just sitting there, but if you're assessing the map, like, people do this. Like, good players will do this. They will take time to sit there, assess the map, look at, you know, where enemies are, look at where their teammates are. You could do this. You could sit there. Like, I've literally learned this from Lemming Rush. Like, don't be afraid to just sit still for 5-10 seconds and look at the map and go, okay, I think this is what's going to happen. Here's how I'm going to adjust to it. That's how good light tank players are good light tank players, right? You have to look at the map. You have to make adjustments on the fly. And once you see enough situations happen, right? Like, you've played thousands of battles on, I'm not going to say thousands of battles, hundreds of battles on a certain map. You've seen the outcomes, and you just, you know, it's pattern recognition. That's really what it is, right? So it takes some experience to learn these things, but if you guys ever see me not really speaking or talking and just kind of staring at the screen, that's me just kind of assessing the situation and looking at the map and looking at everything that's going on. So hopefully that makes sense. We're going to apply this, and that's it, guys. 328 spotting, 1,737 damage. We'll take a look at the final tally here. And for this game in particular, we were 3rd by damage and we were 2nd by experience. So I think, given that 2 of these games were bottom tier, you know, we saw tier 8s, I think we did pretty well in this thing. Again, like I said, this tank is pretty OP. I would call it like a tier 6.5. That's pretty much what it is. The LT432 is an 8.5. That's kind of how I view these 2 premium vehicles. But anyway, that is how I play the Type 64, guys. You can get a little more aggressive with it. For instance, on the last game when we went after the Pantera there, this is something you could do in the Type 64 because it has decent DPM, right? If I was in like the even 90, you get 3 shots and then you have a 27-second reload. So it really depends on the tank sometimes, but with this vehicle you can get away with doing things like that. As long as you have support, right? Like, I don't think I would go after the Pantera if the HT wasn't there. But hopefully you guys see kind of how to play this vehicle, and just how to play a light tank a little bit better in general, right? I would recommend this vehicle. It's very, very good at tier 6, somewhat forgiving and all, and it's just a well-rounded, good light tank. So if you're looking to get into light tanks and you want to get a premium, I would highly recommend this vehicle, guys. So let's take a look at our score here. We did 1609 damage and we did 466 assists. This is about 2,000 combined. WTR rating of close to 6,000. I usually say I like to be over 5,000, maybe 5,500 at tier 6, because, you know, people usually aren't at quite as good at tier 6, but we saw tier 8s twice. Keep that in mind. And don't forget, I always tell you guys, matchmaking. I could play 5 battles for you guys right now. We played 3, but I could play 5 just to make the maths easier. I could play 5 battles, do 1,000 combined. I could play another 5 battles, do 3,000 combined. We got Prokhorovka and Malinovka on this side, and over here we got Mines and Himmelsdorf or something, right? So always keep that in mind, guys. Don't get discouraged about the matchmaking. And over here we could have had tier 6 games. Over here we could have had tier 8 games. So I always like to say this and just remind you guys, don't get discouraged. Matchmaking is out of your hands, right? That's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. Take care of yourselves, and bye-bye now.